Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are breaking down a topic that affects literally every single one of us. Whether you're sitting in a corporate boardroom, studying in a classroom, or just trying to figure things out at your kitchen table, this applies to you. We're going to completely demystify the concept of creativity. We're looking at some incredible source material today that maps out exactly how inspiration actually works behind the scenes. I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through this because by the time we wrap up, you're going to see your own potential in a completely different light. So let's just get right into it.
Now, be honest for a second. Are inspiration and creativity only for geniuses? It's a trap we all fall into, right? Whenever we hear words like inspiration or creativity, our brains immediately picture these historical giants. An Einstein or an Edison, just having this sudden, unearned flash of brilliance out of nowhere. We tend to think that creative power is this magical gift handed down from the universe to a select few, strictly reserved for the artists, the inventors, and the absolute geniuses of the world. But what if I told you that this assumption is completely 100% backward?
Okay, let's dive into this, because the source text completely shatters that genius myth. On one side, we've got the fantasy, the effortless light bulb moment. But the reality? The reality is so much different. True inspiration only arrives after sweat, continuous effort, and daily dedication. It's not a random light bulb strike at all. It's the result of relentless, ongoing hard work. If you're facing a severe problem, you can't just sit around and wait for a miracle thought to come save you. You literally have to put in the sweat equity first to generate the raw materials for that breakthrough.
Section 1. Creativity that saves relationships.
We so often box creativity into these neat little categories like building machines, writing novels, or coding software. But the source explicitly warns us not to just imagine a genius and leave it at that. This hard-earned creativity, it's actually a vital tool for navigating the messy, day-to-day reality of our personal lives and our human relationships. True creativity is highly accessible to anyone who is willing to sweat for it. When we stop looking at creativity as a rare superpower and start treating it as a practical, everyday skill built on effort, it opens up entirely new possibilities for how we handle our daily struggles. Now, what's really interesting about this is the staggering fraction presented here: 1/10. According to the source material, if you take this creative power, this active problem-solving imagination, and intentionally apply it to family problems and domestic disputes, you can actually reduce the chance of a divorce down to 1/10 of what it would normally be. Think about the magnitude of that for a second. We aren't just talking about making cooler gadgets. We are talking about utilizing innovative thinking to literally save relationships. Picture a husband and wife clashing in a stubborn battle. You know the one. I want to do this versus I want to do that. A standard argument there usually just leads to a breakdown. But if you treat that marital clash exactly like you would a complex problem at work, everything changes. You use your creative imagination to figure out a completely new approach to adjust and solve your human relations. Creativity impacts all of life, producing this tremendous added value to our everyday connections with the people we care about.
Section 2. The blank slate method.
So, if creativity can actually solve complex life problems and save marriages, the obvious question is, how do we do it? How do we flip that switch? Well, the source lays out a very specific three-step process. First up, discard fixed ideas. Clinging to thoughts like, well, this is how my parents taught me, or this is how our company has always done it, instantly kills creativity. Second, you have to approach the problem as a completely blank canvas. And third, ignore your pride entirely. You have to strip away all that baggage to allow fresh concepts to surface, so you can generate a massive volume of ideas and let them properly mature. Whether you're dealing with a tense family issue at the dinner table or pitching a brand new business project at the office, you absolutely cannot carry the heavy baggage of old methods into your brainstorming phase. You have to intentionally imagine erasing the board, just wiping it totally clean. Because without completely removing those preconceived limits and expectations, you simply won't be able to generate the volume of ideas required to find that one true, innovative solution. Section 3. Separate planning and judgment.
Now, even if you manage to start with a blank slate, there is a massive trap that catches almost everyone. So the crucial point is that our brains essentially have two distinct modes for capable work. We have planning ability, which is all about generating ideas freely, and we have judgment ability, which is strictly evaluating those ideas. The fascinating revelation here is that these two vital skills are fundamentally opposed. It's like trying to press the gas pedal and the brake at the exact same time. They cannot safely coexist in the same moment. Don't get me wrong, both are absolutely essential pillars for success. You need great ideas, and you absolutely need to make good decisions about those ideas. However, if you try to evaluate or judge an idea the exact fraction of a second you think of it, saying to yourself, oh, that'll never work, or that's a stupid idea, your creativity will immediately plummet to zero. When you are focused on judgment, your creative generation just shuts down. You have to consciously switch your mindset between these two modes depending on the situation. And this brilliantly illustrates how that dynamic completely changes our approach to group settings. When it's time for a brainstorming session, the text advises temporarily stripping away all job titles. You take off the section chief hat, the department head badge, or even the president label, because hierarchy naturally invites judgment and the fear of criticism. True brainstorming means eliminating rank and creating a safe space where anyone can throw out ideas freely until everyone's mental ammunition is completely exhausted. You collect the ideas first. You judge them later. Section 4. The courage to withstand criticism. Okay, so you've put in the sweat, you started with a blank slate, and you brainstormed without an ounce of judgment. What happens next? Well, having the idea is really only half the battle. The source material strongly emphasizes that living creatively requires immense courage. Because a truly creative idea is, by definition, different from the norm, you are inevitably going to face resistance. It takes real, undeniable bravery to take that unique idea out of your notebook and actually execute it out in the real world. This quote perfectly validates a very real fear we all have. Creative people are different, therefore they must endure the cold stares and sneers of others. When you suggest a completely new way to solve a family dispute or a radical new workflow at your job, people might look at you funny. They might scoff. The text acknowledges that facing this resistance, the cold stares, the sneers, is actually a natural, guaranteed step in the creative process. It's not a sign that you failed. It is a sign that you are doing something genuinely new. Let's move to and see how this builds, because there is an ultimate payoff here. The source points out that when you start executing a unique idea, people in your school or your company might initially label you a weirdo. They might try to strike down your initiative altogether. But once your idea actually starts getting results, once your grades go up, your sales numbers rise, or your household genuinely becomes more peaceful, everyone around you will fall completely silent. Consistent, undeniable results eventually quiet all the critics. And that is exactly why you must have the courage to push through that initial pushback. So, bringing it all together, we've seen that creativity isn't magic. It's daily sweat. It's separating brainstorming from judgment, applying your imagination to adjust and solve human relations, and having the sheer courage to execute your ideas despite the critics. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this one question to think about. What fixed idea will you discard today? Which outdated assumption is holding back your blank slate? Look at your life right now. Find that fixed idea and erase it. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep sweating, keep innovating, and I'll catch you next time.